This is Note Taking Guide 3.8 for Math 1. Today we're going to look at some graphs and some equations of linear and exponential functions. So I'm going to teach you how to graph them today by using a t-table. So our focus is just filling out this t-table and then graphing those ordered pairs. One of the things that I like to do, because I know I'm going to be substituting x values in over here in order to find my x and my y values, I get to pick my x values to put in my t-table. So I can see that I'm going to divide by 3 right here, so I really only want to pick numbers that are divisible by 3. If I do that, then it's going to make my math so much easier. So I'm going to pick to put into my table of values over here. I'm going to pick -6, -3, 0, 3, and 6. I'm going to pick those values because I know they're really nice and easily divisible by 3. And then that way my y values will be really nice when I'm substituting in. So what I did was I picked some x values. I'm going to substitute them into this equation in place of the x. So I'm going to go 1/3 times -6 minus 2. I'm going to punch that in my calculator. When I do that, I actually get -4 out. So let your calculator do the work and just punch it in. All right, the next one I'm going to sub in is the -3. So I have 1/3 times -3 minus 2. When I do that, punch it in my calculator, I get -3 out. So I'm just going to keep subbing these numbers in just like that. So 1/3 times 0, which is 0, minus 2. 0 minus 2 is -2. So I'm just going to put -2 in. Next one is 3, so 1/3 times 3 is going to be 1. 1 minus 2 is a -1. And then the last number I'm going to substitute in is 6. So 1/3 times 6 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So now that I have those ordered pairs, I can graph those. Hopefully that will give me enough information to actually find what I'm looking for here. So my first ordered pair is -6, -4. So I go over -6, I go down -4, and that's where my first point's going to be. My second ordered pair is -3, -3. My third ordered pair, 0, -2, 3, -1, and 6, 0. So I'm here just like this. My line's going to go through those ordered pairs. I'm really not very good at drawing my line through those ordered pairs. So we're just going to do the best that we can. Just like that. Okay, now that we have this line graphed, and I can tell it's a line because of the way that the ordered pairs lined up, I need to find my x and my y intercepts. My x-intercepts come from where my graph touches or crosses the x-axis at. And I can see that point that I put right on the x-axis. I put that value at 6, so my x-intercept is going to be at 6. My y-intercept is where my graph touches or crosses the y-axis at, and I can see where that one's going to be at also. It's right down there at -2. I could write those as ordered pairs if I wanted to. The x-intercept would be 6, 0, and the y-intercept would be 0, -2. All right, let's take a look at our next one. This one is not linear anymore. You can tell because of this power up here on that value of 3. So again, I'm going to pick some numbers here to substitute in to this equation. You can really pick anything you want, but I would definitely pick some positive and some negative numbers. So let's try -3. Let's try -1, 0, 1, and 3, just to kind of give us an idea of some values to sub in. So we're going to sub these values in. It will be 3 to the -3 power minus 2. And we're just going to sub those in our calculator. And when I do that, I'm going to get some ugly decimal point numbers on some of these. So I got -1.92 on that first one. Then I'm going to sub in my second one, so 3 to the -1 minus 2. So just on your calculator, plug that in. And I got -1.66. Put in 0. I'll have 3 to the 0 power minus 2. Punch that in your calculator. And I got -1. put 1 in your calculator, 3 to the 1 minus 2. So 3 to the first power is 3, 3 minus 2 is 1. So I put 1 in right here. Next one, 3 to the 3 minus 2. 3 to the third power is 27. 27 minus 2 is 25. So that gives me a good start to have some ordered pairs to graph. So let's graph them and see what happens. The first one is negative 3, negative 1.9. So negative 3, negative 1.9 is about right here. Negative 1, negative 1.6. So maybe right there. 0, negative 1, 1, 1, and then 3, 25, which is clear off my graph way up there somewhere. So I'm coming up traveling like this. So my graph is looking something like this. It's definitely an exponential graph because it grows really quickly. So I then need to just answer my questions over here. So it says, what's my x-intercept? My x-intercept is where my graph crosses or touches the x-axis. So I didn't do a great job drawing through my ordered pairs here. I maybe am more like this instead of over there. But my x-axis, regardless of where I put it, it's not exactly, you know, where it's nice and easy to see. I think that it's probably going to be around like 0.5. You could probably guess 0.6 if you wanted to. So I'm just going to guess that my x-intercept's at 0.6. My y-intercept is where my graph touches or crosses the y-axis at. I actually can see it over here. It's at negative 1 because when I have a y-intercept, my x value is always 0. The last thing we're going to check is end behavior. So this end behavior says to look as your x's are going to negative infinity. So that's this direction. When I'm looking this direction at my graph, where are my y values going? Well, my y values are going down. So those are going to be going towards negative infinity. And then the second part of this says to look when your x's are approaching infinity. So my x's go to infinity this direction. And when I'm looking this direction, what's my graph doing? My graph is going up towards infinity. So my end behavior would be positive infinity. All right, good luck you guys graphing today. Just make sure you pick good and smart numbers to put in your t-table. Use negative and positives and 0, and you're going to do great. Good luck with your homework.